couple of weeks?
It's a brand new truck. They just converted over to this style and built a new truck, and it's a father and son team. Mother goes along. Mrs. Roy Everett travels all over the country with it. This young gentleman, 20 years of age and in his 3rd year of college, does an outstanding job. There's his father giving him a little bit of last-minute advice as Tony gets ready to leave with the sled. They're talking about which side of the track they're going to run. This young man is a very tough competitor. He's one of the premier pullers in America, and he is double tough. But he should be.
He looks so young.
20 years of age, he runs a 621 cubic inch motor. This is the biggest engine, cubic inch-wise, in competition here tonight.
Wow.
Rolls the slack out of the chain, no jerk starts. You've got to leave with a tight or taut chain. Right now, he's got the green flag. What? The dough runner. He needs to really lay down a good pull.
Tony Everett. Looks like the best so far, Mike.
Tony did a great job. They had the truck geared right, everything hooked on the truck. This is a very consistent crew. Roy has been a top runner all over the nation for many, many years, and his son is just as good a driver. They wrench the truck consistently. That's an outstanding job. That's going to be a tough one to beat tonight.
I like the family atmosphere, too. You see a lot of that here. A lot of families come. Mom, dad, sister, brother. It's really a family sport anymore, isn't it?
Very family-orientated from the word go. These people travel in groups, and a beautiful job. All right, here's Tony as he leaves with the sled, and he rolls the sled just a little bit, maybe 5 or 6 feet. He can't roll it a long ways on a short course. Then he's into the big 600-inch motor hard. He's getting a good pull. You see the tires are hooking up well. He pulls it to a stop right there. The weight box stops him. That's his dad right there to the right of the screen. And a beautiful run for the dough runner out of Georgia.
So the dough runner moves into first place, 118 feet and 4 inches. Tony Everett at the wheel tonight, and right now he is the man to beat.
They're the biggest, most powerful monster trucks in the world, unleashing their awesome power in the hottest new home video, Return of the Monster Trucks. It's raw action on the first monster truck obstacle course ever, with Bigfoot, USA 1, Monster Bet, Rollin' Thunder, and more. Plus exciting side-by-side car-crushing drag racing, unbelievable truck crunching. See Awesome Kong crush a mobile home. If you like the original Battle of the Monster Trucks, you'll love Return of the Monster Trucks. You won't believe your eyes as these monsters of the Midway take to the water, and much, much more. You've got to experience the ultimate crushing power and thundering action in this all-new video. Return of the Monster Trucks. It's not available in stores, so order yours today. It's dynamite. Call now 1-800-648-5600 to get your copy of Return of the Monster Trucks for just $19.95 plus shipping and handling. Order now and get a monster toy truck at no extra cost. This awesome video is available only through this special offer. So call now 1-800-648-5600. Save COD charges by using your Visa or MasterCard. Call now.
Measuring is done for this. How does it work?
Well, actually, the measuring is very simple. Why don't I just show you the way it works?
All right, let's see.
When the weight transfer machine brings the vehicle to a stop on the track, a very simple process takes place, but it's a very valuable process. A stake is driven at the centermost portion of the sled, and then the sled is backed into the position on the starting line. At that time, a crew of 5 moves in for the measurement. Now, they're measured to the nearest 1/4 of an inch with the United States Hot Rod Association. And this is a very, very intricate part of the program. The tape is tied across the track, the measurement takes place, and then the measurement is passed to the official that records it. It's a very simple process, but it's something that's very, very important and makes the difference between several $100s in competition like this.
And we are in the Albany Civic Center in Albany, Georgia. And next up in the 4-wheel drive out of Valdosta, Georgia, USA, is James Grainer. Nothing fancy, just a 67 Ford, 605 cubic inch engine. And this one, I would think, Mike, would not be unlike the 621 we just saw. A lot of power under that hood.
Nothing fancy on the outside, but when you've got 605 cubic inches of Ford motor pounding the ground, you've got something fancy on the inside. And this little old truck really hooks good. Of course, the mark to beat on a short track is 118 feet and 4 inches. 118 and 4. Let's see if James can do it. Watching the temperature, building the heat up a little bit, cleans the motor out, getting ready to drop the hammer on it, lower the throttle. The big C-Peck's ready to turn the tires. Let's see if he can make it all the way out the end. A good running truck, nothing fancy.
Might be good enough for second place. I don't think he beat 118, but we'll see.
He's shooting at the dough runner. He's going to end up a little bit short, but a very fine pass. Might have been geared just a little bit off base. Might have like it had a little more tire speed to get it down and out for a full pull, but a good run for one call, nothing fancy.
James Greiner out of Valdosta. You know, you often say, Mike, that the first 75 feet are so critical. How did he play the first 75 feet here?
In this particular arena with a short track, it's really, you have a lot less to work with. And he takes the option to just drop the hammer on it, bring the tires up as quick as possible. Didn't roll with it, left hard, got the tire speed up, and in this kind of track, you can do it. He's got good traction, it's a good track, and it's staying together very, very well.
So the difference from an outdoor track to this track is you got to make your move a little bit earlier than you would on an outdoor track.
Most definitely. An indoor track, a short 120-foot track like we're running on tonight, you've got to do it all, and you've got to do most of it right off the starting line.
Gotcha. And for James Greiner out of Valdosta, nothing fancy, but not too bad. 108 feet 6 inches and good enough for second place. And as the Ford Budweiser U.S. Hot Rod Association Truck Pull Winter Nationals continue, here out of Miramar, Florida, is Larry Harrison and the Pumpkin. Larry started out driving the streets, been doing it for about 11 years, and he and his lovely wife, Yolanda, here tonight in Albany, Georgia.
Well, this is a tough-running Dodge truck. It's short wheelbase. Here again, a lot of guys don't like the short wheelbase, but the Pumpkin truck works very, very well on an indoor track like this. 511 cubic inches of wedge Dodge. Now, most of the motors we've seen tonight have been fuel-injected engines. This one's a carbureted motor. The big carburetor setting underneath the air scoop you see there on the screen. The carburetors, a lot of people say, will flow more air than the fuel injection, and that's so important when you get into motorsports. It's not only the amount of fuel you put into the engine, but the amount of air in it. That's two combinations that it takes to make a machine run. You've got to have fuel, you've got to have air, and you've got to have spark. And there's a good look at Larry Harrison. Larry's going to bring the Pumpkin to life. He needs to go 118 feet 5 inches to take the lead. This man could very well do it. Checks the left front tire and goes with the Pumpkin. Good hook. He's down deep. It's going to be real close.
It's going to be close. Like Cinderella, the Pumpkin has come to life here in Albany, and he may have the lead depending on where they mark it.
I think he's going to be on the short side of going to the lead, but a very fine hook for the Pumpkin truck. Excellent job of pulling. This young gentleman is really making a mark in competition tonight.
Wants to make sure we say hey to all his friends down in South Fort Lauderdale, which is where Larry's from. And for Larry Harrison in the Pumpkin, his first pull, 107 and 3 inches, which right now would qualify him for third place, right?
Good shot at third, 107.3. Right now,
they just fit little foam things right in your ear, and you probably can't hear anything I'm saying, can you? You got that money you owe me? And it's time for the pride of Canada. This is Arnold Coburn out of Toronto in the Canadian Warrior, a 75 Chevy, and again, a lot of thunder under that hood.
This gentleman, a past Canadian champion, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. A very fine running truck. He is the 1985 New York State champion. Truck Pull of the Year in 1984. 85. This gentleman's been at it a while. He's very, very tough. We've seen his daughter drive this truck a number of times and do a beautiful job with it. But Dad's out on the winter circuit. Left the Canada country and came down to run the Southern Circuit this time around.
Well, that guy, he looks like he means business, just the way it looks, huh?
Very intent. A lot of concentration as he gets ready to hook to the sled. Of course, only 120 foot to make money tonight. He definitely needs to do that. 118 feet 4 inches, the lead. The Canadian Warrior, this truck has all the capabilities in the world of winning it tonight.
So it's the Canadian Warrior against the peanut farmer from Doran, Tony Everett.
GMC, General Motors of Canada.
I've heard of it.
Green flag, it's time for the Canadian Warrior. Watch him work. He could definitely make a full pull. Ending up just a little bit short, but dropping right in that 108, 107 mark. See a little heat come off the headers on that beautiful big motor. 568 cubic inch Chevrolet.
Mike, it looked a little bit like he was nursing it at first. Was he having trouble, or what was going on?
No, he rolled with the truck a lot further than most of the pullers have done here tonight. Eased the truck out, let it roll, tried to let it hook to the track a little bit more before he actually hammered it. There you can see he's not in it real hard at this time. Right here's where he opens the butterflies perfectly level. That means everything is on the ground. He's running the right-hand side of the track, staying real close to the out-of-bounds marker. It starts to bring it across track. It begins to pull down, lose a little power. A good run for that truck. Not enough to put him in the lead, but a real fine run for our Canadian friend.
And for Arnold Coburn out of Toronto, the Canadian Warrior with its first pole tonight of 107 feet and 7 inches. Well, there, in all its white glory, is Skip Smith. Behind the wheel of the Mrs. Smith Delivers. It's a 55 Chevy. Actually, that body Skip found in the woods just outside of his home in West Palm Beach, Florida. He liked it, fixed it up, put it on a chassis he already had, and right now he looks like he's got an ice cream truck.
In the early stages of being completed for competition, Mrs. Smith, one of the golden years of Chevrolet truck. Beautiful job, classic. First time that I have seen a 55 Chevrolet panel in competition. I think when this truck is done, it's going to make a very eye-appealing truck. The tires have been tough underneath the back of the body, much like the Pro Gas cars that is so popular now in the street cruising. Front end has been cut down, narrowed in. Truck is real compact, short, in close. This truck really could hook to the track well. Track's in good shape. Let's see if he can make that pull that's going to take to win it. Mrs. Smith.
Only had the cab a couple of weeks.
Slack out of the chain and look at the green light on the sled. Everything's in operable position. It's time to go with Mrs. Smith. Very fine hook. A very good hook for a new truck. Won't take long before this truck is dialed in as a top competitor throughout the nation.
And Mrs. Smith really delivers. Skip tonight pulls at 108 feet and 2 inches, and that is a very fine pull. As a matter of fact, it's good enough to move Mrs. Smith Delivers into third place. But the winner from Doran, Georgia, the Doe Runner, Tony Everett, and nothing fancy with James Greiner at the wheel, Anna Valdosta finishes second.
Watch out. Strap yourself in. The wildest show on wheels is about to roar into your living room. The United States Hot Rod Association brings you the ultimate home video. Blood, sweat, and gears. Bigfoot takes on the toughest full-blown competition ever. But then he faces his greatest test. It's man versus machine, with Sergeant Slaughter and his battle battalion challenge Bigfoot to an all-out tug of war. So if you want gear-jamming, car-crushing, down and dirty action, get ready for the video event of the year. Blood, sweat, and gears. To order your video, call 1-800-351-1500. Toll free, 1-800-351-1500. Or send check or money order to Blood, Sweat, and Gears. P.O. Box 30179, Bethesda, Maryland, 20814. But hurry, supplies are limited. Order now.
It takes quick.
Tires. You can't win without Dick's C-Pec tires. All right, now comes, I think, a real neat part of the show, and that's the exhibition class. And we've got Butch Schultz, who we saw a little while ago in the two-wheel drive, now coming out in the Magnum Force.
Beautiful, funny car, Tiempo Ford.
Yep.
Out of Ohio. And, you know, we're taking a little shades of drag racing as we've got a funny car And we've got a dragster we'll be seeing in just a moment. Butch is going to check everything out. Watch the car thunder. Not hooked to the sled. He's going to clean it out. He'll do a little burnout. Make sure everything's hooked up. And it's hooked up hard for that one. Big motor Ford.
He's got some money sunk into his application here, because we saw the Magnum Junior before, just a beautiful truck. This obviously in the same vein, another black vehicle. So I would think that Butch has got some money sunk into this.
He truly does. Now you see the hatch that flips up when he backs up.
Yeah.
Not only is that an escape hatch for a funny car if something was to happen, but Butch has converted that and put a mirror, a stainless steel mirror, up on the inside of that hatch. There's a good shot of it. That enables him to back to the starting line looking up at the mirror. He backs right up into the starting line, doesn't have anyone in front of him guiding him. A very good idea with the stainless steel mirror up on top.
First funny car with a sunroof, huh?
Now, this is true. Slacks out of the chain. Watch Butch come to life as he'll make a pass. The big blown Ford sitting there, the shotgun injectors. Touches the injectors, you notice the motor comes to life right up on a rear tire. Walking, talking, running car. Butch thunder down the track. What a pull. Beautiful job. As he takes it out of sight.
Yeah. And what a great camera angle, too. From ground level, you can see the dirt kick up and everything.
Just a beautiful job on Butch as he flips up the mirror. Backs it up, had to back out of it. The only reason Butch backed out of it, he was about to kiss the wall on the left-hand side.
Let's look at this again. What an angle we had on this run.
I mean, a tremendous angle, and the cameraman doing a great job. The car picks up right off the line. That's what Butch wanted. He's got the tires cocked a little bit, but they never touch the ground. Butch just thundering down the track, making it work for him. Balance is good, exhibition, wheels high in the air, and a beautiful job. It's all Ford, front to back for Butch Schultz.
Yeah. Well, Butch Schultz left them laughing and cheering, and here comes yet another in the exhibition class, top fuel dragster. Again, not unlike what you see in some of the drag races around the country, and now it's come indoors to the truck and tractor shows.
Bob Bauman is brand new, beautiful dragster, and I mean, this one is just out of the world. Now, Bob has been very fortunate. He's one of the few pullers right now that secured some help on this car, and that's by the good people with Century Grease and Oil out of Cabot, Pennsylvania. They're helping Bob with his brand new car, this long, beautiful top fuel dragster. Bob sitting down inside this aerodynamic, ultra sleek vehicle. A fabulous job, about 210 inches long, a wing up on top, and it is one fantastic piece of pulling equipment.
Let's talk about the wing on top. What does that do for him?
And the wing on top in the pulling world actually will not help. He won't get that much speed up. But he rips it and lets it ride as he gets ready to really put the power down. There's the wing, and the fire just went out on it.
Uh-oh.
Notice where Bob's setting in the car, checking the gauges on it. Also, the steering wheel, it's out of sight right now, but it's on a slide. It pulls back and forth. There's a shot of the wheel, and Bob actually it'll pull back to let him control the car. It slides forward to make it easier to enter and exit the car.
Got it going.
All right, now watch Bob and watch the steering wheel. See, the steering wheel comes back, lets him control it, locks it into place, and Bob's all set and ready to ride. The burnout's completed, and he will back it right into the sled. This is only about the second time out for a brand new machine. Only one of 3 in America. Belching out fire on that left-hand side. He's got a little rich on the fuel mixture. Nothing to worry about as the alcohol, the excess alcohol burns off.
Rodak, so it's built in California that I take it.
Well, this particular engine, I don't think is a Rodak. I think it's a cast iron Chevrolet, set of aluminum heads on it, a strong building motor, probably build a lot of horsepower, around 12 to 1,500 horsepower. and very possible. Now, I want to retract a statement because I haven't looked at it, and it very well may have a new Rodak in it. Aluminum heads on it. It's a fine pounding machine. Now, the strap's running down off the side. If the blower was to lift up off of the engine, a blower explosion, there's aluminum studs that hold the blower on. It'll strip the studs out. The straps will hold the blower down. It will not go up in the air, and it'll limit the damage just minor.
Green flag is up. Here we go.
Look at the termination. Cars down. Up and down. What a pass. Outstanding job.
Yeah.
Smoke everywhere. We've got an oil fire out of the left header. An oil fire on the left header. Guys carrying those portable fire extinguishers extinguish the blaze immediately. And
What a show.
I'm telling you,
What
Bob
a
Bauman
show.
really did a good job. Now look right behind the motor, right behind the engine, at all the oil that came out of the motors that went down the track. Not a good sign. Definitely problems on the inside of that big motor.
Good. I want to see what happened here. Let's take a look at this again, and maybe we can tell.
I think it happened early. Now, you see the left bank start to go sour, the smoke coming out of the clutch, and we've got problems almost off the starting line. A beautiful angle. The heat coming out the bottom of it, but the car is really building the horsepower as it goes down the track. A fantastic sight. Smoke coming off of it, O-rings coming out of the motor, the little smoke rings that you see coming out of it, that's a bad sign, and I'm fairly sure that he damaged the motor. As you see the fire, the oil fire out of the left bank, there's a good shot of the oil that has spilled back on the back of this full-body dragster. Bob Bauman,
There he is.
Truly a gentleman. Outstanding job.
Mike got a chance to get inside a two-wheel drive puller to show us exactly what it looks like.
I'm sitting inside Darth Invader, the two-wheel drive pulling vehicle that'll be on hand here tonight. When this vehicle leaves the starting line, the driver on the inside is very, very busy. The right hand operates the throttle that controls the engine power. When the front end comes up in the air, the steering wheel becomes inoperable. At that time, he controls the vehicle with the right and left brake. If the vehicle drifts from one side to the other, he will touch the brake to make the vehicle come around and control it. Also, 3 gauges on the inside is all the gauges that are operating during the pull. The oil pressure gauge, the tachometer, and the oil temperature gauge. Now, very seldom does the driver have a chance to look at these gauges as he goes down the track. But when he shuts down on the end of the pull, he'll be able to look at them, know the condition of the motor, and hopefully be running when he quits. This is one of the vehicles to watch tonight in competition.
And we are back at Albany, Georgia, here at the Budweiser Ford USHRA Truck Pole Winter Nationals. And we are just about set for the two-wheel drive competition. And I mean a showpiece out on the floor right now. That is the Darth Invader. It's an 88 Chevy Astro van with Mike Slater at the wheel.
Mike Slater driving for George Stinnett. This truck just completed about the 3rd hook that it's had on it. It's brand new, and it is one beautiful piece of truck. The inside, the outside, all of this truck is absolutely spotless. Now, Mike doing the driving tonight, driven 4-wheel drives for years and years, and just taking over when George cannot travel with the truck. Mike takes over and drives it. These are supercharged engines. They're pumping out about 1,500 horsepower.
Wow.
They're double tough. They're 2-wheel drive. The front end's going to get high in the air, and we're going to see some great pulling coming up in this class.
The Darth Invader out of Grand Blanc, Michigan.
Black out of the chain. It's time to go to work. He's the 10th puller in the class. First one to go to the sled. Let's see what happens with a beautiful van. Up in the air and out of sight.
Next stop, Atlanta.
Beautiful job. Notice the light comes on when he puts the truck in reverse. Just another one of the many safety factors in this pulling sport. There's a good shot of Mike as he's got the big motor setting out in the tunnel. A beautiful job for the Darth Invader.
And for those of you that can appreciate great body work, what a beautiful, beautiful truck. Let's take a look at it again.
Mike wastes no time. Watch those rear tires come to life and the motor just breathing wide open. The throttle wide open, front end comes up. He's right down the center of the track. Doesn't have to top the brakes any time at all. It settles down, an absolute picture-perfect pull for Dart Invader. Looks like he's gone full pull for the night.
And I'll tell you what, great camera work, too, as that throttle came open. You knew he had everything moving. Everything. Look at that.
130 feet, full pull. It's
Yeah.
out the gate. We're
Right.
set up for a pull-off.
We are right smack dab in the middle of the two-wheel drive competition, and the next guy out of the chute, again, just a showpiece. This is the Rice Burner. This is Bill Romsberg out of Alberton, PA, and as you can see, he's driving an 87 Toyota with a 526 under the hood.
Not Toyota under the hood. Blown Chevrolet sitting in this beautiful Rice Burner truck. Needs to take it out the gate. Here's a man that can. This truck came out of the shop and ran well. Started out running the truck with a Chrysler Hemi in it, and now converts over and runs the Chevrolet. Bill, very fine competitor, finishing the top 5 on the Circuit of Champions for 1987. He'd like to win it this year.
Got an 87 Toyota cab and a Chevy engine, kind of like Hands Across the Sea, huh?
It truly is. Now, he was really running good, has been running extremely well. Let's see if he can take it out. He has to do that. The big blower sitting there pumping air into the engine. This is an alcohol-injected motor. 12 to 1,500 horsepower, has the green flag, watches the pack come up, waits for the motor to hook. Just a beautiful pass. The tires never left the ground till right at the end. Picked it up, got a little weight transfer on it. A great job for the Rice Burner.
I want to see this again because it was kind of herky-jerky to start, but then it really settled down in a hurry, didn't it?
Let the tires hook into the track. What he did on the starting line area. He's going to roll with the sled, just letting the tires settle in. He just hooked the tires up. Little puff out smoke, and here he comes. The tires are up. The front end just skipping across the top. Wait. Front end comes up. The Toyota goes out. A beautiful job. We're into a pull-off.
Wow. Now there you see it, the Rice Burner from Alberton, PA, the full pull, 130 feet. And as Mike said, we're in a pull-off situation right now. All right, all the noise, and I mean not only breathing fire, but just looking on fire. This is Bob Bauman in the Telstar, and he is out of Saxonburg, PA. It's an 87 GMC, but it's got a few more doodads than that, doesn't it, Mike?
It's a Jimmy, and there's a good shot, and look down the top of it. And you can see where they have split the back of the truck and widened it, making it set down over the tires. It's a lowrider version. Under the hood, a 575 cubic inch aluminum version of a Chevrolet. It's a Rodak, built by a gentleman named John Rodak out in California, as originally for a boat racing, and found a home in this pool world, and they are one really tough piece of equipment. A fabulous paint job as Bob Bauman sets down to go to work. Bob and his beautiful wife, Pam, are in the busing business. They have a number of buses in Saxonburg. Now, for Bob to be in the running for the #1 money, he's got to go full bull. 130 foot to the mark. Just very close to the end, and you know, Bob had all the combination that time around for a full pull. When he rolled with the sled, he lit the motor, and the motor just immediately came to life. Had a great sound to it, but on the end of the track, he's going to end up on the short end of it, as he did not make it all the way out.
I think when we see on the replay, he kind of like just dropped it in about the 60-foot mark. Let's take a look at this again.
Bob comes with the sled, but he doesn't jump in the motor like the other two guys have done right off the starting line. Right here is when he lights the tires up. The front end comes up. Bob very well may have waited just a little bit too long. He's drifting hard to that left-hand line, and that could have also hurt him. He may have touched the brakes to pull it around.
What kind of pressure does it put on him, knowing that he has to go full pull? Is that more than just saying, I've got to go so far?
Oh, you've always got it on your mind, and when you're wanting to get in that pull-off, you've come a long ways. You've really, you know, the pressure gets pretty good on these guys.
Now we wait the measurement, and there you saw it.
Took it all the way down to the Coliseum floor. Cut through all of the dirt, had the tire speed.
And here it is, 126.5 for Bob Bauman. Not the full pull that he needed to get into the pull-off, but the Telstar tonight turns in a 126.5. And our last competitor here in round one, and a man who also needs to get into the full pull by going 130 feet, is Bob Zundel from New Alexandria, PA. And as you might expect, Steel City Shaker means he lives definitely close to Pittsburgh. He's got an 88 Chevy with 440 under the hood. Tell me a little bit about him.
Bob Zundel runs a farm machinery repair shop in New Alexandria, Pennsylvania. That's when he's not on the road trying to compete all over the United States and Canada. I say trying because Bob told me recently that he sat for 16 hours in one spot on the road and couldn't go anywhere because of ice all over the track. Good view of the sled, and this thing is Bob Zundel. Boy, that's a great pass for Bob Zundel. I'm glad to see the truck come to life like that. He's really had some hard luck. But I'll tell you one thing, man was in the top 5 in 1987, and he's going to make a mark on him in 1988.
And for Zundel and the Steel City Shaker, a night of 123 flat, 123 feet evens.
Are you ready? Yep. Let's go.
This is corner number 1. Mike Slater in the Darth Invader. He went full pull first tonight in his 88 Chevy Astrovan, and he's up against the rice burner, Bill Romsberg, out of Alberton, PA. All right, it's all on the line now, Mike. Darth Invader against the rice burner. Both had great success first time out.
Both of the trucks are thunder trucks. I mean, they just filled all the horsepower in the world. Right now, it's going to be a driver's situation. Evenly matched pair of trucks. I would say that neither one of these trucks has the advantage. Of course, you go to the pull-off in the same order that you pulled the sled the first time. So it's Darth Invader first, rice burner second. It's going to be very close. I would not pick a winner, but let's see what happens as he turns loose the brand new 1988 van out of Michigan. Green lights on the sled. He'll get green on the track. Here comes Mike. Box tops out, a beautiful pass.
Yeah.
He had the motor thundering.
Not a full pull, but definitely a good time, good distance to beat.
Going to make it tough on anyone that the gentleman to run behind him. When you lay down a bull like that, you're really going to have a tough pass coming up, following him out.
Here he comes again now. Let's take a look at this.
Mike wastes no time in lowering the throttle, shoving the right hand forward, opening the butterflies up. The truck comes up in the air. This truck's got good balance on it. That's the way you want it to pad about 3 times as it goes down the track. The box is topped out on the sled, all the weight hanging down on it. The pressure's on him, but a beautiful job. Now it's the measurement time.
116 feet and 1 inch. Mike Slater at the wheel of the Darth Invader, and that is the distance that Bill Romsberg has to beat if he wants to win tonight. And here is the rice burner. He knows exactly what he has to do. He has got to better what Mike Slater just accomplished. And as Mike just told us, it is not going to be easy for Bill Romsberg, because at the end of this track, right at about the 120-foot marker, that's where the Georgia clay, that's where the dirt is really torn up quite a bit. It's going to be a real test at the end of this pole for Bill Romsberg. Well, he backs up and gets all set to go. Mike, he knows exactly what he has to do.
Bill's been watching the track during the latter part of the class. He knows exactly where the bad spots are. The truck's hooking up well. I think Bill's got the capabilities of driving the truck as well as anyone here tonight. This is a very fine competitor. This gentleman, truly a pleasure to be around at all times. He'll roll the slack out of the chain, and when he comes to thunder, you'll watch the rice burner as he'll light the tires, and all he wants to do is go past the mark laid down by Mike Slater. Here comes the rice burner. That was going to be too close to call from our vantage point, but one thing about it, the rice burner really did a great job. He did fall off into the holes, but he only one tire did it. He had good traction. Now remember, 116 and a small amount is the mark that he needed to beat. I think he may have done it, but it's going to be up to our measuring crew. Ever so important measurement coming up between first and second.
And you were exactly right, Mike. He broke down, or the traction stopped right where that track was worn out. Let's look at this again.
Bill on the throttle early, and he had to be. He had to get all he could get early because the sled is a lot heavier than it was the original part of the pull. The butterflies are wide open. Front end comes up. Now watch those rear tires. He's right in that area. When that Slater came to a halt, the tires hit it, and down he goes. A beautiful job. He just really had a fine pass.
All right, we're going to get the measurement right here live. We're not going to have to wait and get it tabulated. We're going to take a look at the actual measurement, and then the young lady who does all this is going to tell us firsthand. So the measuring crew out of Florida doing a whale of a job tonight.
Jim Harris, the official with the United States Hot Rod Association, right there on this ever so important measurement.
Here it is. 117.5 is, I believe, what she said. 117.7 and a half.
Well, that's enough to put him into the #1 spot by a foot or so, and a beautiful job. Bill did a great job, drove the truck absolutely perfect. Of course, he drove it perfect. He won the class. A fine job, Bill Rosberg. The rice burner, and you know, there's a happy man. The crowd's very proud of him, and he should be. A beautiful truck, an outstanding job.
Knew what he had to do, and he went out and did it.
Watch out. The wildest show on wheels is about to roar into your living room. It's the ultimate home video. Blood, sweat, and gears. Bigfoot takes on the toughest full-blown competition ever before facing his greatest test when Sergeant Slaughter and his battle battalion challenge Bigfoot to an all-out tug-of-war. So if you want gear jamming, car-crushing, down and dirty action, order your video now. Call 1-800-351-1500. Blood, sweat, and gears.
Inside one, because you not only steer the front wheels, you also have to steer the back wheels as well. Mike Gallaway got a chance to get inside one and show us how it's done.
I'm sitting aboard Gary Bauer's monster truck, the Lone Ranger, and Gary's been kind enough to let me crawl aboard and take a look at the inside of it. Steering wheel controls the front tires of the monsters, and on the back tires, well, it's controlled by a very simple switch mounted between the two seats. Moving the switch to the left turns the rear tires to the left, and moving the switch to the right in turn turns it to the right. Now, it's very simple. It operates a hydraulic pump that puts pressure to a ram on the rear tires, and it's a necessity when you're running monster trucks.
All right, we are back in Albany, Georgia at the Albany Civic Center. Ken Broo along with Mike Gallaway, and this is what they came to see. This is the battle of the monster trucks. We're going to see wheel stands and car crushing and all kinds of stuff.
Gary Bauer out of Ohio knows no fear. Here's a young man that would... The back bumper on this truck is actually bent at an angle, and that is because Gary has set this truck on the back bumper more than once. Every time he does, he works the weekend, or there's a good shot of it. That's where he has hung the bumper going over the cars. That's how high this guy puts it up in the air. Watch Gary Bauer. He gets ready to put one up in the air. He's going to fly it high. Knows no fear. Supercharged Ford motor.
Lone Ranger.
Truck weighs about 12,000 pounds. Each tire and wheel weighs over 1,200. Bauer is psyched up and ready. Watch out. Here he goes. Whoa. Up in the air. Look at him. Gary Bauer.
Oh, my goodness.
Really stands it right straight up and down as he does a job on a set of cars right there in the middle of the stadium floor.
Look at that.
My goodness, what a great job that Gary Bauer's doing. He's coming around taking another look at him. You can see the damage that he did on that pass. This beautiful high-riding black Ford truck. He's going to do all sorts of things tonight. Watch him. He's going to back up. He's going to do the back-up wheelie. Now, he straightens the tires up. There's that rear steering coming into play.
Right.
Very important on these monster trucks. Watch Gary Bauer. All he's going to be looking at when he goes over is the red Georgia clay. He will stand it right straight up in the air, backwards. Kind of like going off the diving board in a backward position. You can't really see. Look at Look at that. What a job. Gary Bauer just putting it right up on its nose. Fantastic job for a young gentleman that is making a name for himself all over the monster truck world.
How many times have we sat in traffic and wanted one of those things? Oh!
Bauer's not through with them. Wants some more of the action.
Well, let's see. He got the roof, and he got the hood. Maybe he's going for the trunk this time.
Watch Gary as he'll put the front end really high in the air on this pass. He's kind of got the cars beat down a little bit. It's giving him a little bit of kind of a ramp to put it up in the air. Gary will just really hammer it when he comes up on top of those cars. Watch him. Here he goes, right up on top, flying and flying.
Hey.
Almost turned that first car over.
Oh.
He had the traction as he climbed up the side of it. The car rocked, flipped up underneath him. A kind of a dangerous situation. Here we go. Back up, back up, back up. Look out, right up. You're seeing a monster truck go through the paces tonight in a battle of the monster truck. Lone Ranger Gary Bauer out of Ohio. An outstanding job.
And now it's time for a little barefoot.
This is Barry Pickard. He's out of North Conway, New Hampshire. He's going to bump the cars up, tighten up the line a little bit. Supercharged 454 Chevrolet. Runs through a 400 turbo transmission, and he's going to try to surpass the excellence of Gary Bauer. Watch him. He's on a hard road. Just really hitting and flying all over the cars. Having a tough time of it, landing really rough on the little barefoot. This truck is one of the few trucks that has crossed the Mississippi River. The tires will actually put the vehicle and makes it float across the river with the big tires, and they can turn the tires in the water and it'll just kind of float along.
Is that right?
A very expensive bass boat.
Yeah.
Weighs 12,000 pounds. It's 12 feet wide, 11 feet high. Watch Barry hit the cars on the run. Look out. Just getting it all over the place.